Hello, my crafty friends. It's Michelle, the Southern Shell, and I am here today with a Calendar Girls collaboration. And I'm going to show you how to make an adorable little album, pocket album, using old calendars and lunch bags. This collaboration is brought to us by Tiffany with Simply Blessed Crafts and Jessica with The Busy Housewife. And I am their guest host this month. Let's jump right on in. So the first thing I did is I grabbed 6 of these white lunch bags. I've had them in my stash. I usually use them at like craft shows and craft fairs when people buy smaller items. And I had some left over, and of course, I pulled out some different Christmas pages off of my old calendars. Now I just came in and took those bags and I put it in my scoreboard because I could fold it right on up into that corner and get an even fold for each one of these bags. I just used my bone folder, pushed it out and up and off to the side. Now I am writing down the sizes that I need for the mats. I'm going to need to create some mats on there, but I'm going to put, excuse me, I'm going to put a mat on each side. So I end up with 14 mats, but to put this journal together, I'm going to just glue in a U shape down the sides and across the bottom fold. And then I'm going to take the top side of the bag and the bottom side of the next bag, place those together and squeeze them. This gives me a strong support on each page because I've got that double bottom piece where that bag opens up. That's going to give me some more strength right there, right there. So I went ahead and did that with all 3 of them because there's 6 bags. So I glued all 3 of them together this way, making the U, putting the bottom half of one bag to the top half of the other bag, and pressing that down and using my bone folder. Now I do the 3 separate first because if you try to do this where you're just lining them up, you're going to have a little harder time lining the bottoms up on you. Once I have all 3 of them done, I can come in and now I can glue these 3 together. This gives me the same width for both pieces as I'm putting these together instead of trying to stack and then putting a small one on top of the other. It's just easier. If you try it, you'll see, you'll understand. So I went ahead and got all of those glued together. I used my bone folder just to press that out, make sure that glue was bound down in between. I am using art glitter glue. It is a wonderful paper glue. It dries super fast. And here are all the pockets now you can see inside the base of my little flip journal. Now I'm going to cut my mats out. I have some heavy duty black cardstock. I thought this would go great with the contrast of the white background. Because of the size of my bags, and I folded them in half, each of these need to be 5 1/8 by 5 1/4. And I'm doing 14 pieces so I can have one on the front cover and one on the back cover. And then on each page on the inside. Now I'm taking my calendar pages. Now these are 11 inches, and so I just came in and cut them at 5 1/2 right down the center. And that way I can separate these and put a scene on each side of my journal pages. Once I got those all cut in half, I came in and cut the bottoms in half, or where I could put together a particular scene. Some of them weren't quite in half, some of them were in the center, and I pieced it together. But this worked out really good on that one. It was basically right in half. This one worked well too. I did go ahead and cut this one right in half, and it worked. Now I'm taking a piece of the extra cardstock here from when I cut out the mats, and I'm just using my ruler and my hands, and I'm trying to like warm it up and give a curve to this paper, this cardstock. It is pretty heavy duty, and I'm going to trim off a nice piece there to do, this is going to be the wrap for my journal. And I'm going to use magnets to hold these closed. So I'm just going to get those out and have those ready so I don't forget because I'm notorious for forgetting my magnets. So I'm going to come in now and use my art glitter glue. I'm going to line my bags up and find that center and then add some of my glue there. And that is where I'm going to lay down this closure that I'm creating. And I'm putting that down before I put any mats on it so that it will be double strength on there when I get this covered. It'll be a pretty strong closure for this little mini album. Hey y'all, it's Michelle. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and if you can, hype. It really does help my channel. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and just grab my pieces here, and I am going to lay these down and get the whole journal now covered with this heavy duty card. Now, when you are putting these down, make sure that you'll dry fit it, and you want to make sure that you're putting it on right because remember, one side is 1/8 inch shorter. And so if you try the other way, it's just not going to fit. So here I'm marking where those magnets are going to about go. Okay, and I'm now going to go through each of these and mat them. Now, once again, I'm using the art glitter glue. And guys, anything that I've used in this video that I can find for you, I will link in my description box below. I am an Amazon affiliate. I do earn a small commission if you purchase from my link at no additional cost to you. So if you're going to purchase the items anyway, I do appreciate you using my link. It does help me to continue to create for you all. Okay, sorry about that little blurb. Anyway, we are now going to um, punch a hole out for the ones that have the opening for the pockets. You want to make sure that you're not covering it. You're going to come in and just add that in there so that you've still got that strength behind that excuse me, that pocket when you open it. Now, I could have, once again, just glued in a U shape here and created more pockets, but I didn't do that. Now it's time to attach the calendar page. Now, I am using glue stick on this because these calendars are from Dollar Tree and they are very, very thin. If I were to use a wet glue, I will probably see the lines, the squiggly lines from where I've laid the glue down. So if you use a glue stick, and I'm just using the glue stick here, and it's the purple changing color Elmer's glue stick, and laying that down, and then I'm going to just trim that out, and this is giving me a gold border so that I'm not laying that cover down on just the black. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with the magnets because I want to get those down before I cover it. If I forget, then the magnets would be on the top, which would be fine. I could still cover it. I could probably punched out some little circles out of the leftover calendar page and cover those up. But if I can remember, I try to put them underneath the mats that I'm putting down. So I'm going to go ahead and lay the magnets on one side first. You have a positive and a negative. You want the positive and the negative to be on the opposites so that they will attract each other. If you happen to put two positives on the same side when it's closing, they will resist and it's not going to give you a good closure. So I put both of the positives on one side just like that. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to put a little piece of scrap calendar there and then put those other pieces of magnet. And then I'm going to pull the tape backing off of those. And once I get that on there, all I need to do is now close my cover here, close that little closure, and I can just open this up. And now my magnets are there, and they're right where they need to be. Now I can come in and put my cover, the little journal cover on there. And I'm just using the art glitter glue here because it is mounted on some cardstock. So that is perfectly fine. It's not going to bubble or warp. Once I get that laid down, I want to make sure it is covering those magnets. It's giving me a nice little lip all the way around. Using my bone folder to burnish that down, being careful as I go around those magnets. And there you have it. It just closes right on up. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting this together on the inside. So if you like what you're seeing, think about following me on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. You can check out these QR codes here. If you'd like to support my channel, you can join my YouTube or you can subscribe for free. You can also buy me a coffee, which helps support my channel as well. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to just see where I want these to lay out, and the first pages have to be the red truck. I know these have been around for so long, but I still love this look. It reminds me of when we went up Christmas tree hunting when I was a child. We lived in Oregon and Hood River, and we'd go to Mount Hood and we'd get a $2 permit to go up and cut down our Christmas tree, and our family would make a day of it with our aunts and uncles and cousins, and we'd have a big old bonfire and go out and get the trees. And it was just, when we get back to town, we'd have chili and decorate the tree. So it was just so much fun. All right, so I'm just trimming these off so that they're going to match. I don't want them to be uneven, so I'm measuring and putting that in there. Now I can bring this up and lay that down there, and I know I need to come in. Look at that. Oh, I know I need to come in and punch that out a little bit to fit around that edge there, and it's perfect. Once again, let's use that glue because it's a calendar page. We're going to lay it down, burnish it with our bone folder, and move on to the other side. And I'm just going to continue doing this with all of my calendar pages. I am just loving the contrast of the black, the white, and then the Christmas colors. It's so crisp and beautiful. You would never know that these were Dollar Tree calendars. It just turned out so gorgeous. Okay, so for the closure, I went ahead and went into one of my paper packs. This is a Recollections from Michaels. I've had it for quite some time. And I was just measuring, and I'm like, okay, this is going to have to, I'm going to use the sweater looking one because the cover says let it snow. So I'm just going to go ahead and take and measure this out and find out how big I need this to be. And since everything has that 1/8 inch border, I'm going to cut this a 1/4 inch shorter than the width of my closure. So I'm just going to take this, line it up on my mat. I'm going to use my metal ruler. I'm going to go ahead and come in with my little blade and cut me off a strip that's going to cover that journal closure on the outside as well as the inside. This will wrap totally around it. It's going to be perfect. So you see me, I'm just laying it out, measuring it, and now I'm like, okay, and let's see where I need to score for this to actually lay down on the inside. So I'm going to lay that down on the inside of that bag, come on up and grab my ruler, measure it out, and now I'm just going to come in and use my scoreboard to score a nice straight edge so that I can fold that and it will be nice and crisp over the edge of that flap where those magnets are. Once I get that done, I'm going to go ahead and bring that book back in, and I'm going to use my art glitter glue because this is going cardstock to cardstock. And so I don't have to worry about any warping or bubbling. I'm going to lay it down, line that right on up at that edge, fold it right on over, lift that pocket and pop it in. Now look how crooked that is. Oh my goodness. And I'm just worried about the glue, and I'm like, oh no, that's really crooked. Can I move this over because this glue dries fast? I caught it soon enough. Look at that. I was able to move it just enough and then burnish it right on down. Being careful around those magnets once again because you don't want to damage anything in there. The glue and the adhesive is going to hold those right in place. Now I'm just going to glue it straight down along the back. and press it down. Guys, this is just a friendly reminder that this is the Calendar Girls collaboration, Christmas in July. This is brought to us by Tiffany with Simply Blessed Crafts and Jessica, the busy housewife, and their guest host this month was me, the Southern Shell. Their channels will be linked in my description box below, along with the playlist of the other creators joining us this month. I hope you will go over and check them out and show them some love. Tell them that Michelle, the Southern Shell, sent you over.
So I wanted a little bit of something more on the cover, so I found these little enamel dots that I've had in my stash, and I just I alternated between the white and the pale green, and I really wanted to cover up this spine a little bit better, so I dug in to my lace bucket, and let me get that pinned back closed, and I cut off just a little piece of some black lace, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto the back, and then I'm going to wrap it around. Actually, I think I'm going to start by gluing it on the front because I don't want to cover up too much of the Let It Snow, and then I'll wrap it around to the back. So I am going to go ahead and use my Beacons 3-in-1 for this. And we are just going to go ahead and look at that. Let me go ahead and get that glue boogie out of there. Goodness. All right. Line it right along that edge. And then I'm going to lay this right there, and we're just going to tap that in place and let it dry. When that is dry, I will flip it over and glue it on the other side. It's not going to take long to dry. Actually, I can go ahead and do that now. So here, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I have a new bottle. I'm just not ready to open it until this is gone. This is a very goopy glue, but it is very good for projects that or maybe your paper project that has more than just paper on it. You can also use Fabri-Tac. I use them both pretty much interchangeably. I need to screw that lid on so I don't get another nice little daub on there. And I'm just going to lay this down and tap it right on in there again. All right. I'm going to let that dry, and our journal is done. Okay, let's do a final flip through. All right, so we have our magnetic closure. Open that up, and then we have our first page. There's no pocket on here, but we do have our pockets here, and we do have another pocket here, and the same on this one. Pocket, pocket, so that's 4 pockets. 5, 6 pockets. This one I left open at the front, so now we have 7, and then the bag is 8, and then the back bag is 9. Here we go. Promise it's back there. There you go, 9. And then same thing here. 10, 11, 12, and then 13. So this is a 13 pocket Christmas flip book. Little album. Now, what can you use this for? There's so many different things. What I was thinking is, especially with Christmas, you can keep this in your bag. And if you have a budget for each person and you're shopping, you can have each of these pockets represent somebody. So if I was buying for Joe, I would put all of Joe's receipts in this pocket so I knew where they were in case anything needed to be exchanged. And then so forth. If maybe this was my daughter's, I would keep all hers in here. I have 3 daughters, so 1, 2, 3, and my son-in-laws and the grandbabies. That way I have pockets that I could keep receipts in for each person in case whatever we got at Christmas would need to be returned. I think it's a great idea. I hope you guys give this one a try. I think it turned out really super cute. So let me know what you think about this and if you're going to give it a try. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. If you want to know when my next video is gone live, hit that bell notification. YouTube should let you know. As always, guys, stay safe, God bless, and bye for now.